Hi everyone. Today my name is Yesim Engin, and today I'm here with lovely Magdalena Mook, Chief Executive Officer of ICF, and we are going to have an interview to be published on our first publishment of Coachmagazineglobal magazine. So welcome, Magda. I can call you Magda. I know you.
Absolutely. Most everybody calls me Magda, so yes, please.
Thank you very much for being with us today. It's an amazing opportunity for us to have the interview for our first publishment with you as ICF Global Head. And we know you mainly with your title. However, today I would like to ask you to get to know you as a person a bit more, and as a coach also. So how did you start coaching, and how it impacted people around you?
Well, first, thank you for inviting me back. I must have done something right with the first interview, but very happy to be here and support your magazine, of course, because I think that raising awareness of professional coaching is something that it's making a big progress, but we still have some work to do. So very pleased to be here. Well, my journey with coaching started just about 17 years ago. When I first joined ICF, I was aware of coaching. I knew what coaching was, but well, let's face it, it was 2005. ICF itself was only 10 years old, and the profession of coaching was not very well recognized or even understood. So the reason I joined ICF was not from the perspective of coaching, but from the perspective of association management. Already then, I was an expert and professional in association management, and ICF, being an association, needed somebody with broad international experience, and this is how I joined the ranks of the staff of ICF. And yet, and I would say it forever, my very first experience with coaching was to work with professional coach. And that changed my life and made me a huge believer and proponent for the coaching profession. I'm still friends with my very first coach. We talk occasionally, and several years back, I called her and I said, you know what, I have to apologize to you. She said, apologize for what? And I said, apologize for not being very accessible client. I know it now, working with multiple coaches, that I was not very ready to be an open coaching client. So I have a huge appreciation for all professional coaches who have to open their clients up a little bit, make them familiar with the process, make them comfortable with the process, so that the client can truly be able to reach their greatest potential. I am a trained coach. I've been trained by the company here in the United States, and I also have been trained as a systemic coach by the company in the UK. I would not consider myself a coach necessarily. I would self-identify as a leader using coaching skills. I do not have much time to coach. ICF is a very large global organization, and it takes time to run it on a daily basis with the very talented staff I have. So my staff would probably say as well that I am leading the organization, utilizing coaching skills and coaching competencies in a day-to-day work.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing how you started coaching, because my journey is similar. And I know many coaches started coaching by being coached by professional coaches. And it shows us how a life can be changed through a coaching session. Even one session can be really impactful.
Correct.
So, we know ICF in general, but can we hear from you a bit more about, how ICF structure is a bit more, if you can share with us.
Sure. So ICF started as an organization for and of professional coaches. When ICF was first started in 1995, it was created to give legitimacy and credibility to the then only emerging coaching profession. The almost a side effect of that was that ICF created a community for people who are interested in coaching and becoming coaches. And as it's true, I think for any association, so a body created to support a profession or a group of professionals, we have to be relevant to survive, if you will. We need to be relevant, and the world around us, the environment around us, has been changing very rapidly, and so has been ICF. About 3 years ago, well, beginning of 2020, really, we established a different structure, as you mentioned, of ICF, which frankly, the structure is only a reflection of a different value that as an organization we are offering to our stakeholders. So ICF now is a combination of 6 family organizations, and they look specifically into certain parts of a coaching environment or coaching field that together, as we believe, creates greater value than any of these pieces alone. So, of course, we are still and always will be association for and of professional coaches. So that's one family organization, looking primarily into education, into bringing trends to our members, into giving them tips of how to run business, how to be abreast of what's new and exciting in the field of coaching, which goes hand in hand with our credentialing and standards family organization that really is responsible for making sure that our credentialing program is not only very aligned with the international standards for credentialing bodies, and that's the International Standards Organization that dictates that, and also that the content of our credentials is very much aligned with what coaches do when they are working with their clients. Hence, we do the job analysis every 3 to 5 years. This is why we established a new set of competencies a couple of years ago, so that we really are reflecting the job that the coaches are doing. Very closely aligned, again, is another family organization, and that's coaching education. That's where it all starts, right? Without good preparation for our coaches, or like myself, leaders using coaching skills, that wouldn't be coaching. So making sure that the programming of our coaching education is well reflective of the core competencies of our code of ethics, of the practices in a coaching field, that's something extremely important and fundamental for the profession itself. And then, of course, our community is such a generous community. So ICF Foundation for years now has been a leader in offering pro bono coaching for the populations that otherwise perhaps would not be either familiar with coaching or would not think coaching is a good solution for them. And at the same time, conducting research on the effectiveness of coaching in social progress organizations. Something, as I said, the relevance, something we noticed in a coaching sphere was that more and more organizations, corporations, governmental organizations, private, public, you name them, started adopting coaching style or building coaching cultures for better effects of their work. So we created a coaching in organizations, family organization, that is helping exactly with that. It's supporting organizations that want to bring coaching to their organizations, either through internal coaching processes or hybrid of internal, external, and managers and leaders using coaching skills. So this is a very fast growing part of, if you will, coaching spectrum. And we know from research we've done with primarily Human Capital Institute, HCI, is that organizations with strong coaching cultures actually realize better financial results, and they are having a much greater engagement of their employees. And that's a global finding, that's not just US. So it is a business proposition. Coaching is a business proposition for those organizations. We wanted to create a part of our own environment within ICF for the organizations that are interested in coaching cultures. And finally, as I said, ICF was created in 1995, and it is fast and very dynamically developing a field. So it's just week to week, it's a different organization. And therefore, we thought that we have to have a space for very, very open conversation. Where are we going with coaching? What coaching is doing? What the research is indicating? What are the future challenges and opportunities that coaching can support? Hence, we created the Thought Leadership Institute that is looking into all this new and exciting, what's coming, and how coaching can support it. This is the new ICF for you. We call it One ICF because, again, we believe that by the combination of those 6 elements, we are creating value that otherwise could not be found.
Thank you so much. Even most of them I was not aware of, so it's very informative. And yeah, talking about ICF being so popular and leading platform for coaching. I know you have been present, you have chapters in most of the countries. I'm wondering, is there anything, any country that you haven't opened any chapter yet?
Yeah, we are present. We have about 57, almost 58,000 members around the globe, which I find so exciting because that means that coaching is truly a global phenomenon. It's not, when ICF first started, of course, I was not there at the very beginning, but when ICF first started, it was predominantly North American organization, although UK already had a very strong showing for coaching, and so did Australia. But I think the fact that now coaching is present in so many countries, and we have chapters in just about as many countries as we have members. Having said that, there are some areas of the world where we may have members, but we do not have critical mass to create chapters yet. We are growing very, very fast in Middle East and Africa, but Africa still is an area where we do not have chapters in every country, of course, and we are keenly working on first developing a good cadre of coaches in those countries, and when we have enough people to sustain a chapter, we create a chapter. With ICF, we are an association of individual members, so even though there may not be a chapter in some countries, we still welcome members from those countries to be a global member of ICF.
So what are the countries that you are focusing on to be more active in near future?
You know, we are predominantly looking into the market trends because sometimes if you try to push a development that may not be the best thing. What we noticed, there are several correlations. For example, ICF works closely with many other associations, for example, with the associations of human resources professionals. Typically, when we see an activity from HR perspective in a country, we know that very soon after, we will have an influx of ICF members or trained coaches. They may be members of other organizations or alumni of other training schools. So after HR comes the interest from coach training providers. And then we come, because ICF is one of very few coaching organizations that in fact requires coach training for individuals to be able to join as a member. So in a way, our coach training providers, and we have over 3,000 of them around the globe right now, they are, well, what we say in the States, bellwether indication of where coaching is going next.
I see. And having said that, how do you place yourself as ICF within all these other coaching platforms? What makes ICF different, or what is the vision that you would like to be continuing leading coaching platforms, coaching field?
Yeah, you use the term platform, which nowadays, I just want to be clear, nowadays platforms are often used for organizations like Coach Hub or BetterUp or Ezra, as organizations that are offering opportunity to find employment for coaches, and also offer technology solution for doing that. We are neither of that. We are an association for individual coach practitioners. So how we differ from other organizations, because there are plenty, and I think that's absolutely lovely that there are multiple coaching organizations around the globe. Each and every one of us has a touch bit different value proposition for our members, but we come from the abundance perspective. The more the merrier. There is something special that can be offered by the organizations. We are by far the largest coaching organization association in the world, with our 57, almost 58,000 members. We're also the most global. I'm very proud of that, frankly. Also, I think ICF is known in some corners of the world. ICF is more known as a credentialing body, because we have close to 50,000 of credentialed coaches that are proud to call themselves ICF credentialed coach. And that is in fact creating a global standard for coaching. And I think that this is one of the greatest value proposition that ICF offers, being a standard setter for the coaching profession, with the help and support of our members and credentialed coaches. We listen to our members. We annually do surveys. We are junkies with surveys. And I am so glad also to say that our members love to respond to our surveys. So we are truly listening to what's needed. And we try to create products and services that are either in anticipation, as I said, of what's coming next, or are directly the response to what the needs of our members and stakeholders are. The vision, I am again very attached to the vision of ICF, and that being that coaching is an integral part of a thriving society. To me, it speaks to both coaches thriving and society thriving, because coaching is available and accessible to all.
Thank you so much. And having 50,000 accredited coach under your umbrella, you are mostly following the changes in coaching requirements. And right. We had pandemic, we have war, we have climate changes. We have many topics going on, and I know that they are impacting how coaching having different niches. So as ICF, how do you see and support those new coaching fields, niche areas in coaching?
Yeah, it is interesting, because, as I said, being 17 years with ICF, I saw a lot of changes and a lot of moves, if you will, in a profession. ICF very publicly supports social justice and also climate crisis. We, with many other coaching organizations, sign up to a statement about climate crisis, and we invite our coaches to bring climate in the conversation with their clients. We are not demanding any of that. We are merely inviting and showing maybe a way for our coaches to bring those issues in conversations with their clients. We made quite a significant change in our code of ethics, and also it is reflected in our core coaching competencies, that being that the client and the coach need to be aware of the impact that their work has on a larger ecosystem. And we also have a very strong initiative in diversity, equity, and justice and belonging. We created an entire task force around that. We have a staff position at a very senior level, and we just created a council for DIJ. So we want to see diversity and equity and justice being reflected in the work of individual coach, in the work of ICF as an organization, and coaching as a profession. So again, I think this is a reflection of ICF being a modern association, keeping up with the changes in a marketplace, with the changes in the environment that our members live and work within, and that part of relevancy is definitely reflected in that.
And saying that ICF is a modern association, you are following all these changes in the world in terms of coaching niches. And also, I would like to ask you about, technology, artificial intelligence, using VR gadgets in coaching. How do you approach this? What is your vision or existing approach about this kind of changes?
Technology is impacting our lives in just about every facet of it, right? I'm wearing a Fitbit. I see you having an Apple Watch, right? Technology. We are talking on a Zoom. Technology is here, and it would be rather funny to pretend that it's not. Technology and artificial intelligence has been present in coaching also for years now. Mm-hmm. So many of us use assessment tools. Yes. They're all based on algorithms. That's AI for you, right? Mm-hmm. So our position is that technology, artificial intelligence, it's here to stay, and we should not be afraid of it. In fact, technology and artificial intelligence in particular are here to support coaches. We just need to do two things. One is to be aware of everything that's happening in the field, and we're definitely as an organization trying to do that. We did quite a significant research already on the application of artificial intelligence in coaching. And the second one is working with technology-based organizations is to make sure that it's not just about technology. It's about technology in support of coaching. So we are in conversation with many, we talk platforms. We are in conversation with many of the technology providers from a perspective of technology being respectful of coaching ethics, technology being respectful of confidentiality in coaching relationships, and also the absolute protection of use of data. So we are, I believe, leading the conversation about we love technology, we love possible accomplishments that coaching can do with greater application of technology, including artificial intelligence, and let's be respectful of the boundaries of the profession while using technology.
Yeah, thank you very much. Regarding coaching schools, which are very important to educate coaches, and they have to be accredited to be able to keep the standards up. And as ICF, you are also has a big role on accreditation of these schools. And I would like to ask you, what ICF consider when it comes to accreditation of schools in terms of variety and uniqueness? Because the numbers of schools have been increased recently, amazingly.
Yes. Yeah, we have about, as I said, 3,000 accredited providers. And that exactly points to the our ICF's embracing of different approaches. Our standard is, of course, that the coaching providers, coach training providers need to be aligned according to ICF definition of coaching and core coaching competencies. Having said that, they may add their own flavor. Let me give you an example, because it's one of my favorites. And several years back, as you know, New Zealand created the government of New Zealand, Australia and New Zealand signed an agreement between the country and the First Nation of Maori in New Zealand to peacefully coexist. That opened up opportunities for the Maori populations to, perhaps first time in a long time, be economically independent. And it was especially true for Maori women. What the Agency for Economic Development, this is not their precise name, but let's just call it as such. What they noticed is that many of Maori women were not prepared to start any kind of economic activity on their own. They simply never had this opportunity. They also noticed that many of them were very open to coaching. However, they were open to coaching only if it came from another Maori woman. So with the support of some brilliant ICF coaches, the training program was developed for Maori ladies to become coaches. That program took into consideration very, very deep spiritual affiliation of that population. So yes, it's beautifully aligned with core coaching competencies. It uses all the standards of adult learning as we require it, and it offers this deep, deep respect and attachment to the cultural norms that this population is considering one of the defining elements for them. So this is the opening for the uniqueness. As you said, it's a uniqueness towards languages. It is a uniqueness towards cultures. We know that coaching, as I mentioned earlier, ICF was developed and established in North America, and yet we do know that the cultures of Africa, Asia, they do have some values that are beautifully shown in coaching, and yet the approach to training may be a little different because of that, and we are welcoming it very much.
Thank you for sharing this story also. It's really touching. And I was going to ask about the cultural differences, but I think this story is a good example for that question also. Yeah, and it reminded me, we coaches are generally mostly volunteering different projects around the world also. And it's very important for us to implement these values into the big picture, into the world. And ICF has generally, positions, job positions can be applied voluntarily by other coaches. By closing this interview, I would like to hear from you how or what would you like to say to influence, to call other coaches to be more active on social projects and also maybe ICF positions voluntarily?
As any association, we're as strong as the volunteers that work for us. We may have, 60, 70 staff persons around the globe, but on a day-to-day, what so many people in so many different geographies know as ICF is the local chapter or is a local colleague, friend, peer another coach. So the brand of ICF, we say that each and every member of ICF is a brand ambassador. They are showing the entire universe what ICF and what coaching is, including their friends and colleagues. I mentioned ICF Foundation, and it supports so many activities in social progress. And we have this whole project, Ignite project. We had over, we might be closing on 100 by now from the beginning of the initiative. And it is working with organizations that are providing services to social progress, in social progress fields, if you will. And ICF coaches work with leaders of those organizations so they can do their job more effectively, perhaps. My invitation is to everybody and anybody, and it is that if you can, offering some of your amazing and very unique talent of being a coach may indeed change life. I think we all saw it with our clients. Perhaps, as we talked at the beginning of this interview, we experience the power of coaching ourselves for ourselves. So I am not suggesting at all that every person needs to volunteer. There are circumstances in life where your attention may be needed somewhere else, right? Having said that, volunteering is one of the most rewarding things I know I've done in my life. I'm a volunteer for other professional organizations. I do, as I told you earlier, I do not have much time to coach, but I do. And if I coach, I do it pro bono, and I work only with female leaders in not-for-profit organizations stepping into the top-level jobs, and words can't describe how much reward I have from seeing them thrive and prosper and just shine. So my invitation is, like, for any professional, if you can, please consider being a professional coach, feeding forward, giving back, whatever it is, what matters for you, or working with other phenomenal people that you can learn so much from, and you can help mentor so they grow as well. So I want to thank every single professional coach because this is an important profession, and a profession that I think nowadays is having even greater potential than ever. So thank you for being a professional coach. Thank you for upholding standards in professional coaching. And again, if you can, please support this important profession in some kind of a social progress initiative as well.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being so inspiring. And I agree with you, this world needs us, this world needs our talent, and we can change the world for a better future all together.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Magda. It was a nice interview. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for our first guest for Coach Global Magazine.
I'm honored. I did not know I was the first, but I'm super honored by that. And thank you so much for all these very insightful questions and how we can bring the idea of professional coaching to more people.
Thank you so much.